Good afternoon, everybody. I am so excited to welcome Kristy and Jake Dempsey to the Awaken Retreat. So, yay! This is the next best thing to having you guys right here in the room with us. But because you're huge and projected on the screen, we kind of do feel like you're here with us, which is really fantastic. So Jake and Kristy are amazing leaders, both in their own right. I know that they both bring very unique and different things to the table. But today we are really excited to hear all about Project Broadcast. And this is not the first amazing thing that this couple has offered up to Team Young Living, but it's the one we've chosen to focus on this afternoon because we know that there is a lot of potential here for us to utilize it to its fullest capacity, or at least more than what we've been doing, and help it to bless our businesses. So you guys can divide it up however you wish, but I'm just going to turn this over to you, and these guys are going to jot down any questions that they have while you're talking, and then maybe at the end, if you've got a little bit of time for Q&A, we can do that.
Awesome.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Thank you. We are so excited to get to hang with you guys today. And I just want to say how much I honor and respect and appreciate you. Skyla and Britta are just amazing leaders. I see her there in the background. Hey, Britta. Skyla, oh my goodness, has such a heart of gold. I know all of you there in the room know that already. But I just adore her and all that she contributes to Team Young Living and just who she is as a human and a person. It's really admirable and something to look up to and aspire to. So thank you, Skyla, for being such an incredible person and leader. And I absolutely adore and appreciate you so much.
I have nothing to add to that.
You're going to say I have nothing to say.
Jake has no,
You're so good at this part, Kristy.
Jake says that,
I was just going to share my screen.
I was born without my green crayon for my green personality. I was born without that, and Jake says he was kind of missing the yellow one. So together we make a pretty good human together. So
separate, we're a hot mess.
And the logic and the stuff, and I bring more the relationship and the fun and that kind of side. So we work well together.
That's beautiful.
So I'm going to let Jake start off and give you all the logical pieces of this.
Okay.
Yep. We're going to start with hormones and hemorrhoids. Once we get through that. All right, we're going to talk about Project Broadcast, of course. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see it on the projector. I really don't have a plan. I don't usually plan because some of you have it, some of you don't. So we'll make this awesome for all of you. But just so I have an idea of the people I can see in the shot, raise your hand if you do not have Project Broadcast.
Every person in the room already has it.
Oh, crap. That's not what I was expecting. All right. So,
okay,
well, here's what I
just installed it in the last 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. So if you're new to Project Broadcast, what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about Project Broadcast at a really high level first, like the cloud view. Why do you want to use it? What does it actually do at a high level? And then we'll look at some of the features. I truly don't mind if you have a question that you want to ask, during. It doesn't bother me unless you want to get those at the end, Skyla. That's up to you. But we'll just kind of make it fluid. If your question's dumb, I'll just move on and we'll see if someone else has a different question. That wasn't a joke.
Sorry.
All right. So first off, let's talk about why Project Broadcast. No screen share needed for this. If you're today sending out email, here's the stats on email. 20% open rate. You send 100 emails, 20 get opened. It doesn't mean they get read. It just means they get opened. About 16% get read. So meaning you send 100 emails, 16 people actually read the email. Text messaging, on the other hand, has a 98% read rate. If you send a text message to someone, there's a 98% chance they will read it. So again, 100 messages, 98 people read it. The really great stat, and it depends on where you look, but somewhere between 94 and 96% of people read their text messages in the first 2 minutes of delivery. meaning when they get a text message, they don't wait hours and hours to read it. They read it in the first 2 minutes of delivery. So if we look at just raw stats, right? If you send 100 emails, 16 of them will get read. If you send 100 text messages, 98 of them will get read. Now, when you're using a marketing platform, it's not that good because the numbers we find just on texting in general are more talking about users, me on my phone texting. They're not really targeting marketing platforms. So what I tell people is let's just pretend it's half wrong. It's like half as good as regular texting. Even if it's half as good, you send 100 text messages, that means that 49 of them are going to get read versus 16 on email. So even if you send 100 text messages and half of them don't get delivered for whatever reason, and we'll talk a little bit about why they may not get delivered, but let's say they don't get delivered, only 50 of them actually get delivered, it still means that 49 people are going to read that text message. It's infinitely better than email. And it's a good indicator that it's the kind of the way people communicate primarily now, because how many times have you got a phone call and declined it and literally in the next 10 seconds sent a text saying, hey, what's up? What'd you need? You wouldn't even answer the phone. All the time. So it shows you that like it is the way people prefer to communicate now, even more so than a telephone. So certainly more so than email. And this is where Project Broadcast comes in, right? What we were doing back in the day is, Kristy would run like a money misser report in OT. And then, if you guys know, if you have Oily Tools, that, there's a button to text people from Oily Tools, but all it really does is open the texting app on your phone and just put the phone number in the, in the to field. And then you'd have to actually type your message. So we would basically copy a piece of content, hey, did you know you're going to thank you check, blah, 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 whatever. And we would send it. And then we'd open the next person in the report and we'd send it. And we'd open the next person in the report and we'd send it. Because it's still powerful to send the text, but it took a long time. It took a long time to do it. Well, my co-founder, Brian Knorr, you guys may have seen Brian in the Project Broadcast Facebook groups more so than back in the Oily Tools days. He's been a lot more active on the support side of PB than OT. Well, Brian's wife, Amber, was looking for a text marketing platform, and Kristy was looking for a similar service. And what we found was everything that was out there was really expensive and somewhat limited. They would limit you in these like really funky ways. Like you could only have 150 contacts. Well, I'm a network marketer. That doesn't actually work for me because I can't really grow a business if I only can build up to 150 people. So they give you these weird limitations. You'd only be able to have one keyword. And if you wanted a second keyword, it was $25 extra a month. So Brian and I looked at the landscape of what was out there and we just said, well, we'll build a better alternative. And that's really where PB came from. Just like Oily Tools back in the day came from me watching Kristy's business and seeing that like she had no clue what she was making, like literally no idea. So it was a way for us to build technology to help streamline the business. We launched in October of 2017. That year, we sent, I want to say 1 million or 1.5 million messages for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This year for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we sent over 3 million just on those 2 days. And at one point, we sent 100,000 messages in a single hour. So people it's amazing what we're seeing in terms of what people are using it for. But it's not just for Young Living people, right? We built Project Broadcast to be this generic tool that any business owner who wanted to use texting as a way to communicate with their people, whether that's your team, your customers, your congregation, your employees, whatever. So we've seen this really cool thing where we have all these different network marketing companies, direct sales companies, churches, schools, restaurants, like snowboard parks, dog groomers, all use Project Broadcast. And the great thing about that for us in the network marketing space is they actually give us these really cool ideas. We got a really great idea from another direct sales company actually recently on a new campaign type that we want to build, and we'll talk about campaigns. Right now we support 6 different campaign types, but they came up with this really cool idea of this new campaign type we had never really thought about, and it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be huge for the Young Living business actually. So I guess the short of it is, huh?
Tell us.
Oh, well, so So if you use PB now, you know that we have like drip and time lapse and calendar, repeating, birthday and anniversary. Well, this direct sales company is a party-based direct sales company. So they always host parties. People come to the party, they view the product, they buy the product, right? And someone hosts the party. Well, it's very common for them to do what's called hostess coaching, where if you're going to host a party on, say, the 15th, they want to send messages to you, 2 weeks before the 15th, a week before the 15th, 3 days before the 15th. So we call it a countdown campaign, and that's the next campaign type we're going to build. And I think it could be huge even for us. Yeah, because it could be great for sending out messages for rallies, for convention, for any kind of event that you have, for a class that even for us in Young Living, when we do classes at a person's house, it would be really beneficial to be able to coach the person that's going to be hosting the class, right? And letting them know.
So crazy. So just so that you guys in the room know, Jake and I, we have our own offices in our home. And so we run, like Skyla said, we contribute in different ways, and we run our own businesses. And so a lot of mine is hands-on with my team and stuff, and Jake is creating things for platforms. And so a lot of times he doesn't let me know. This is the first I've heard.
Oh, yeah, I haven't told you about that.
I literally, on my notes for you guys, on one of the things is to send reminders, and one of them says 101 class attendees and 101 class co-hosts. And I'm like, what? So
awesome.
Yes, we'll be using that.
The other big thing that we're hoping to introduce in 2019, and I've still got a lot of work to do around this on negotiating contracts, because it does cost us money, which means it will be an add-on to PB, but we're looking at adding ringless voicemail. And a lot of other network marketing direct sales companies use this type of technology. Just like for a great example is our prime competitor is a company called Scipio. Well, Scipio is $200 a month, and it's insane. And they have less features than Project Broadcast. Their app is not even remotely as good as Project Broadcast. And yes, I'm biased, but I don't lie, so that's true. But it's heavily used by folks in Mary Kay. So one of the things that we've been excited about is we are getting a lot of Mary Kay people come over to Project Broadcast from Scipio, and then we take the opportunity to ask them why and try to get feedback from them as they use it. And what we're finding is they use tools that, like Scipio, they were really heavily using Scipio for like the last 2 years, but in Young Living, we weren't really using a texting platform for the business. I had never really heard much on leaders using a texting platform. So that actually helped us in terms of building Project Broadcast. And they use this thing called ringless voicemail heavily. And it's basically you record an audio clip and then you can drop it into someone's voicemail and their phone never rings. So it's insane. So the way they use it is they would like send a text message, and then they would schedule a voicemail drop for like a day or 2 days later. And the voicemail is like, hey, I just wanted to see if you got my text. That's literally all the voicemail is. It's just another way to provide a touch point. So we already have the partner that we want to use in terms of the technology side, because there's a lot of telco stuff in order to do that. But I'm arguing with them on pricing so that it's affordable for you too.
We love you.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. I mean, can you imagine building a drip campaign where maybe the first 2 messages are text messages, and then there's a voicemail mixed in there at some point, and it's a pre-recorded voicemail, and you can do voicemail templates. So you'll be able to have a voice template that you can send to someone's voicemail. But yeah, those are 2 big things we're working on for 2019 that I think will, it's going to be cool.
Friends, game on.
All right, let's talk about what we currently have.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen. Maybe this will let me. Let's see. That's desktop 2. I got 2 monitors, so I'm trying to figure out which. There we go. That one.
You're so fancy.
Did that work?
Yeah.
Can you guys see Project Broadcast?
Yeah. Yippers.
All right. So we're going to talk about the high-level features, and if you already know the high-level features, listen anyway, because I can see you. All right. We start out with contacts. This is fairly straightforward. If you want to send a text to someone, you got to have a contact in the system. You can either add contacts manually, That's what the plus button does. Or you can import them. If you just got Project Broadcast, listen to me like super closely. Do not start off using Project Broadcast by importing contacts. It's an advanced feature. What happens not infrequently is that people will get Project Broadcast and they get very overwhelmed like on day one, because they start Project Broadcast saying, oh, I'm going to export from the VO or Oily Tools and import my contacts. How hard could that be? It's actually not difficult, but it's not easy either. So it's really an advanced feature. So if you just got Project Broadcast, and I'll put the link up to this in a moment, there's a boot camp group on Facebook. And I think it actually puts the link's actually here when you log in. Look, Project Broadcast Success Plan right there. So we have training videos right in the app. You can find those under the More tab. And when you hear me say More, that's always this little 3-stacked hamburger menu. But there's training literally embedded in the app. So you can come in here and watch YouTube videos right in the app. These videos are short, 3 to 5 minutes each. So if you're familiar with a text marketing platform, this is where I tell people to start, because they already know like what a keyword and what a campaign is. They just need to know how to do those things in PB. But this is a great place to start getting training. If you do these videos and you're like, man, I kind of get it, but I really don't get it. That's where you'll go to what we call boot camp. So there's a link when you log in as well here. Want to be a PB Ninja, join thousands of others, blah, 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 go to boot camp. So that is a Facebook group. And in that Facebook group, you can either use the announcements, which has all of the videos in order. So it's just like they changed the word pinned post to announcements a while back. So it's like a pinned post. Or you can use the learning units feature, this thing called units. And those are the learning units that we've created that have different units, and there's different videos for each unit in order. These are much more in depth. Some of them are 20, 30 minutes long, but it literally goes through Project Broadcast feature, like one feature per video, and it tells you everything about that feature with my screen in the demo, and then there's homework at the end of each video. So if you're new to Project Broadcast, you have to do boot camp. It is an investment. It's probably going to take you a couple days, not all day, but you're going to spread that over a couple days. Watch a video, do the homework. Watch a video, do the homework. And I really do promise, if you do the work, if you go through boot camp, watch the videos, do the homework, when you're done with boot camp, you will know Project Broadcast. Just like I tell people, if you read Driven for Success and do the word problems, at the end of the book, you will know the comp plan better than corporate. So this is similar concept. Do the work, do boot camp, you'll know PB inside and out. Doesn't mean you won't ever have a question, but you'll know a lot. So we've got contacts, don't import to start with. Keywords, the way I explain keywords to people, everyone has used keywords, right? You go into a salon, a yogurt shop, a barbecue place, whatever, and they've got a sign and it says something like text yogurt to 525 for weekly deals. Well, that's text marketing. In that sign, the word yogurt is the keyword, and 52525 is what we call the short code. Project Broadcast doesn't use short codes. So in the industry, you have short codes, the 52525, and you have what are called long codes. And long codes is fancy for real phone number. We decided in the very beginning we were going to do long codes because it's less spammy. If you get a text today from 52525, hey, come in for 30 cents an ounce off your yogurt today, it's spam. So your mind is already trained, so is your customers and so is your team, that a text from a short code is not from a person. It's from a system, or it's from some type of platform, right? People don't send text messages through short codes. The long codes are real phone numbers, meaning when they get a text message from you, it's from a real phone number, which means they can call it. And if you have the outbound calling feature enabled in Project Broadcast, it means that you can also call them from that phone number. So it's a full-fledged phone number. So a keyword would be something like thieves. You want to create a prospecting campaign for thieves. You could create, a 3-day campaign where they get a message each day about thieves, and you can, post on social media or wherever. Hey, you want to learn about thieves? Text thieves to whatever your project broadcast number is. And they would text the keyword, and we're actually going to do, let's just do one. I'm going to create a keyword. I'm going to do, we'll just do this. No, not bio. How about BizCard? I'm going to create a keyword called BizCard. When I create the keyword, I can assign it to campaigns, meaning when they text me this keyword, add them to this campaign. I'm not going to do that right now. I can also use it to remove people from campaigns. Let's say you create a keyword called tips, and you tell people if you want business tips, text tips to this phone number. They get the business tips, and eventually maybe they don't want the business tips. They don't want to stop all messages. They just don't want the business tips anymore. So you could create a different keyword that if they send it, it removes them from the tips campaign. Yeah, it's a way for you to create like your own granular stop keywords without, the hammer of stop. So in my reply message, I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to save that. Well, actually, I'm going to attach an image to it. Let's see. So I'm just on my keyword. Your content would be better than mine. So if I had a biz card keyword, I would probably say something like, hey, thanks so much for wanting to connect. This is Jake. I attached my photo so you'll remember what I look like. You can follow me on Insta at Nerdimus Prime. Check me out on Facebook. Here's my email address. You just give them all it's a business card, right? So give them all your business card information. And there's a reply delay. I'm not going to set it for this test because I want you to get it immediately. But a reply delay is where you can delay that reply. So we added this feature for the sole purpose to make the person getting the text message think it came from a real person. Because think about it, if I really built this up and then I had a reply delay of 0, and in the real world, you sent me BizCard, and then literally like that, you got a reply back that's 100, 200 characters long. Well, I couldn't type that fast. So the reply delay, you can come in here and say, well, I want that to have a 3-minute delay. And what that means is when someone sends me BizCard, the system will wait 3 minutes and then send the reply. So it's a way for you to basically, again, simulate this more personalized experience. I'm going to leave it at 0 because I want us to actually test this keyword. I want it to be enabled. Auto tagging means that when someone texts me the word BizCard, it will auto tag them, group them into a group called BizCard. And that's really useful if you want like Kristy one year, I think it was last year, did a keyword for convention that if you wanted, to get information about convention as it was released, text this keyword, and all it did was send them a reply saying, hey, I'll make sure to keep you notified, and auto tag them. That's it. That way later, when she wanted to send out, something about convention, she could schedule a broadcast and add everyone who has that convention tag to the message. So keywords are also used as a way to just like automatically group people to automate some stuff. Do not message. You will rarely check this. This is if you want to create a keyword, again, your own kind of stop keyword, where when they text you BizCard, you want to mark them as do not message, which should be very, very rare that you want to do that. So we've got this keyword created. Get out your phone. If you text the word BizCard, BIZCARD, to this phone number, you should get this message back. This is how easy it is. Then I'm going to wait just a second. Have some nature water.
Is that 469? Is that right?
Yeah, 469-270-0352. And I want someone to send BizCard with like an emoji, please. It's one word.
Oh, Mine auto-corrected.
That's okay. This is good because I want to show you what happens.
Good.
I'm going to go to my chat. Let's look at what we got. All right, so someone sent biz space card. Well, that's not going to match our keyword, right? That is not the exact keyword. So what's great about Project Broadcast is I can, in this chat, I can click these 3 dots, hit apply keyword, select the keyword that I want to apply, and hit the check mark, and it will cause the system to simulate them sending the right keyword. And now whatever that keyword was going to do, it'll do it. Because this happens all the time, right? You'll say, hey, if you want to be part of my VIP club, text VIP. And they text you VIP, praise hands, which is not going to match the keyword. Look at all these people.
That's how we feel.
See, emojis, look at this. This is how quickly I can fix your craziness. Biz card, apply keyword.
You can't see the 3 dots because this picture is in the square, but there's 3 dots up in the corner.
So here's one who did biz card exclamation. Again, that won't match. And the reason it doesn't match, I get asked this all the time. Why doesn't it pick up that this person sent biz card? Well, let's think of a more simple example. Let's say you create.
Can I just interject for 1 second because it was a question I had with my personality. When you force the apply keyword, it doesn't show the person on the other end that you put that in the text message.
Right. Yeah. No. Correct.
They don't see that.
The reason we put it in the chat thread is so that as you scroll through your chat thread, you'll be like, oh yeah, the biz card keyword got triggered, right? But they did not actually send this text. I'm just simulating them sending it. And the reason we don't pick up on biz card exclamation is, let's imagine you have a keyword called help or VIP. You don't want someone to text you, hey, thanks so much for the help. And then all of a sudden they get this random text. And this happened. This happened to me using Kristy's PB account. So we were sending out messages to some inactives, and Kristy had a keyword set up with the word yes.
Don't use that keyword.
So I'm looking at the chat and I'm like, where are these messages coming from? Like, I'm not doing anything. And I realized she had a keyword set up.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right,
Don't use keywords that people may send you on their own just because. Like, hi, or thanks.
So keywords are a great way to basically automate your work. Meaning, if you want to have the Sleek Challenge is coming up, right? In February? When is it starting, Ben?
Yes.
Right. So you could create a keyword called Sleek Challenge, and all it has, and you tell people, hey, if you want to keep up with my progress on the Sleek Challenge, and maybe there'll be some cool promos along the way as I'm going through this journey, text, Sleek Challenge to this phone number. And all it does is reply and say, thanks so much. Can't wait to show you my progress, whatever. And then occasionally, while you're on the Sleek Challenge, you'll send them messages. But as a part of that, you could have a campaign set up for Sleek that teaches them about Sleek. That's a campaign you've already created that you don't have to do anything. You create the campaign once. It's a drip style campaign. Let's go do that now. I'm going to go to campaigns. You know what? I'm going to go to keywords because I want to do this as an example. I'm going to create Sleek keyword. And reply message, I'm going to say, girl, being skinny tastes better than Oreos.
No, you're not. This is good. Okay. We want to be challenged. Yeah, is there a video? Yeah, I got to do this.
All right, so I'm creating, I need a graphic for this. I don't have one, but so girl, being skinny tastes better than eating Oreos. I'm starting my Sleek, did I spell that right? S-L-I-Q-E. I'm starting my Sleek journey and you'll want to follow along. I'll also teach you about these amazing products along the way. So I'm setting them up to know they're going to get text messages about the products, right? So when I save that keyword, I'm going to now go create a campaign because I want to assign a campaign to this keyword. I want during the Sleek Challenge them to get messages about Sleek products during the Sleek Challenge, but then I'm also going to let them know about my journey along the way. So I'm going to go to campaigns. Campaigns are a way for you to create content that is delivered on your behalf by the system. And it's delivered based on the type of campaign. So we have different types of campaigns. I'm going to do a calendar campaign for this, and I'm going to call this Sleek. The reason I'm choosing calendar campaign for this particular campaign is the Sleek Challenge has a specific start and end date, right? Well, the way a drip campaign works is if you create a drip campaign and it has a 1-day delay on the first message, that just means whenever the person joins the campaign, whenever they join it, they're going to get a message 1 day later because it's a 1-day delay. A time-lapse campaign is what we call a pure delay. So on a drip, you have a day delay and a time of day. I want it 1 day delayed at 2 p.m. You're setting a specific delay and a specific time. A time-lapse campaign, there is no specific time. It's a pure delay. So if you say 10 hours, whenever they join the campaign, 10 hours later, they're going to get a message, no matter what time of day it is. But for this challenge, for the Sleek Challenge, I know it has a specific start date and a specific end date. So I'm going to create a Sleek campaign, calendar-based. When I create that campaign, I'm going to go manage my calendar messages. And I'm going to just add 3 for now. And I'm not going to put any content in here because I don't know what to put in here. Sleek. Let's do Sleek. What's some of the Sleek products? The Sleek Shake, right?
Yes.
So this would be Shake content. Obviously, it would be better than Shake content.
Or with this one, you may actually want to even stick with like the different kits they have. Like if you could guide them in and see which kit they're going to start with. The assist.
No, I want to do this one for me. I'm just saying like my mind for this campaign. I'm thinking I want people to want to follow me on my Sleek journey who may not even be members right now. They just want to follow me. So I want to educate them on Sleek products with the hopes of reeling them in to buy Sleek products through an account. So when does it start? Well, we're doing a calendar, so I'm gonna forcefully make this happen. I'm gonna choose January 5th. I would actually choose a day during the challenge. That's today, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I want it to go out on the 5th, and I'm gonna select the time of. I'm gonna make it. Wait. Oh man, my I need to set my time zone back. It's 12:44, so I'm gonna make it 1 o'clock. Okay. All right, that's my first message. And then I'm going to add a second message. I'm going to make it be delivered today just so we can see how this works. So what's another, there's a shake. There's the gum. What are the
There's the Sleek oil.
Do people put the oil in their tea?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Or the water.
All right, I'm just going to, again, select it for the 5th, and I'm going to select it for 1. This one I'm going to go out to 102. You'll see why I'm doing it this way in a moment. And I'll do 1 more. You would have more than 3, but I'll do 1 more. By the way, I don't like Sleek gum.
I love the Sleek gum.
Kristy loves it. I don't like it. Now, when I'm putting Sleek gum content here, right, you would obviously write something about the gum, why you like it, maybe a picture of the gum or a picture of you chewing the gum would be even better because it's personal and that's something you would do from your regular phone, right? You're not going to always have a Canva graphic that you send to a person, right? So I'm going to choose the 5th for this as well. And this one I'm going to do at 104. So the way my mind is thinking on this is what I would do is I would create this calendar campaign with multiple messages spread out through the Sleek Challenge. So the first week or the second week, the third week, and it would be about the different products. And it would end in something like, have you used this? Have you tried Sleek gum? If you haven't tried Sleek and want to talk more about it, just let me know. You want to figure out a way in the messaging to get them to reply. That's where the real magic in PB happens, is where they reply to the messages and you engage with them. The work is not them just getting, campaign messages. If your people are only getting the campaign content and not interacting with it, you're not winning. You need them to interact for a bunch of reasons. Like there's just so much studies that show that the interaction itself, literally the conversation between you and a person, is what builds the relationship. If it's a one-sided relationship where they're just getting content from you, forget PB for a second. If they're just getting content for you and aren't engaging with the content, their loyalty to you and your product is really low. But if they're highly engaged with you and your product, then their loyalty is really high. So you always want to construct messaging where it's personal. It seems like it sounds like something you would say, right? It's not a copy paste from a Facebook post or an email. It's a text, right? If you're signing your text, sincerely, Jake Dempsey. I mean, do you text your mama and say sincerely your daughter? No. So you want to write your text message in your voice, whatever that is. Someone does that?
Text like you talk. That's what they're saying.
Text like you talk. All right, so we've got this calendar campaign set up. I'm going to go back to our keyword, the sleek one that we created, and I'm going to add the sleek campaign. So I want to leverage PB to automate something for this sleek challenge. One, and it's going to be sending information about the sleek products. So when someone texts me the word sleek, they're going to get my reply message. And then at 1:02, again, because I'm speeding this up, at 1 o'clock, they'll get a message. At 1:02, they'll get a message. At 1:04, they'll get a message. But if it were spread over the whole challenge, I've got these automated messages scheduled. And then during the sleek challenge, I'm going to go schedule a broadcast to them to give them, like, in the moment, here's what I'm doing with the sleek challenge. So I've got a mix of real-time messaging that I'm sending this group of people, but also dripping information on them about the products, right? So they're going to feel like all of these messages are coming from me, and I'm going to be engaging with them. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So if you still have your phone out, text the word sleek now, SLIQUE, to that same phone number that you were just texting. And I did set the reply here. Enabled is on. Yep. Okay. Making sure I got everything set up properly. Campaigns, got 3 messages. Someone's already in there. So if we look, right, all of you guys have texted me sleek. So I'm going to wait a minute because you all should get that first reply, right? I want you to see that first because I'm trying to simulate how you would do this, but in a really crunched time. So all these people are getting the replies. You can see them in the chat here. The system is sending the reply messages. What is that?
Autocorrect.
I don't even know what is that?
It was probably an autocorrect.
Well, I applied the sleek keyword to it, whoever sent that. All right. So you would have just gotten the reply of, oh, I can't wait for you to follow the journey. So during the sleek challenge, I'm going to occasionally go to my schedule tab. I'm going to start a new broadcast, and I want to send a message to all the people who are following me on the sleek challenge. Knowing they're still going to get these other messages peppered in from my campaign, I'm going to come in here and say, girl, why am I keep saying girl? I'm on days 2, and I almost slipped and ate a cookie. My last diet consisted of eating 6 cookies instead of 12. I'm feeling strong. I'm chewing this gum like a beast. Right? This is what I would send us. You think this? I would literally send this message to people. So if you've ever talked with me on Facebook, for example, I don't punctuate between sentences. I'm a stream of conscious thinker, and I write the same way. It's very difficult for me to stop, use grammar, capitalize everything. My brain works too fast for that. So when I talk to people or chat with people in text and on Facebook, I do this very commonly. I will type something and put a couple dots, which just means I'm moving to the next thought or sentence, type some stuff, which I'm not saying is great, but that's my voice. Like, people who know me know that if they get a text like this, I probably wrote it, right? So I would construct this, and I would either put, a fun graphic of the cookie I almost ate, or me chewing gum with a funny face, because that's personal. And I would go to add contacts, and I want to send this to everyone who's following me on the Sleek Challenge. So I could either try to find all those people one by one here, which I'm not going to be able to do, or I could click the quick tag filter in the right here and go find the tag. So I want to use the Sleek tag. I'm going to confirm it. And I've got 10 people in that group. I can either onesie twosie select them and click add selected, or I can just click add all. I'm going to do add all. Yes, I want to add these 10 people. And I'm going to send that message right now.
Done. Oh my gosh, that's so easy.
I think that is
Isn't that crazy? So what's cool, right, is that so I just sent you all the, I almost ate, whatever, I'm chewing this gum like a beast message. But at 102, you're still going to get a message about a Sleek product. So when you get this message, you're going to know I wrote it. And then you get another message that might be a little bit more product focused, but because another message you got really was for me, you're going to think that this one is for me too. So it removes this kind of this question in the recipient's mind, is this a real person sending me this, right? So my hope is that, when I send a message to people about like the cookie thing, that someone replies and like, oh man, that's so funny. I almost ate 6 cookies today too. I only ate 4, right? So you start engaging with them. That's what builds a relationship. That's what makes PB really powerful. It is cool that you can send a text message to 15,000 people at one time. And there are people who do it. What's really powerful is actually engaging with them. And I think Kristy found this out when she started using PB.
I'm going to talk to him about it too.
Yeah, she found out real quick that the work isn't in sending the message. All right, let's see. Some of these should have gone out. Wait, did I schedule that?
Can I ask
So,
a question before you move on? How long does it stay saved on there then? Or like ever?
the message?
Yeah.
Forever. You can delete messages if you're in a chat with someone. Like, say I'm in I'll look at one of these old ones. Say I'm in a chat over, well, I'll just go whatever, whoever this is. I can go into my, conversation with someone, and there's these 3 little dots that pop up. You see when I hover over the message? If I click that, I can delete a message that way. That's actually a fairly new feature. You can't even do that on mobile yet. And it honestly is primarily due to, there are times when we get reached out to by phone companies that say, Kristy's a spammer. And we have to help them understand, no, she's not a spammer. She has a lot of people that want to hear from her. And we show them samples of content. So we don't delete messages by default because of that. But you can delete a message because sometimes people text you pictures of credit cards or spam. You get spam sometimes. And that's something that's going to happen. When you're using a real phone number, just like your normal cell phone number, there are times when you will get a spam, an incoming message that is spam. And you just
and the other part is you may, whenever you're exporting your people, it's possible that people in your organization change phone numbers, but they don't update their VO with the new number. So you're actually sending it to somebody else.
Right. All right. So we've got our campaign. I can even look. Oh, what's this? Yes. Who is this? So here's a good example of me chatting with someone. Someone replied, and now I'm using our chat together just like you would Facebook Messenger, and I'm talking with them, right? I'm in here. I'm going to put some emojis, and I can send that to them. What they get is a text message. I get to use this tool, but they don't know I'm using a tool. So you've got, oh my God, I got to stop or I'm going to keep replying. So you've got these different campaign types, right? We've talked a little bit about drip, time lapse, calendar. Repeating is if you want to schedule a message that goes out, the same day every month. Like if you're a diamond and you want to remind all your people that they need to get their issues into you by a certain date each month, you could schedule a repeating message to go out on the 28th or whenever that just says, hey, make sure to get your issues in by the end of the month at this time. And then you write that message one time, and then every month it goes out to that group of people. You can do birthdays. Now, birthday messages are actually, I haven't seen them as popular in Young Living as I have other direct sales companies. We added the birthday campaign again, believe it or not, it was because Mary Kay people are really big on birthdays. So, but it's a great feature. We extended it to anniversary really for Young Living people, because in Young Living, we're big on the oil-iversary, right? The anniversary of your sign up. So what I like to tell people to do is when you import your contacts into PB as a Young Living person, you should be importing the sign up date into the anniversary field, because now you can create an anniversary campaign that's your oil-iversary campaign, add your contacts to it, and on that anniversary date, it will send them the message. So your oil-iversary campaign would be a little bit generic. You know, it would have their name in it using our dynamic fields, and it would say, can you believe it's been another year? Because you don't want to say 1, 2, or 3, because for some it'll be 1, for some it'll be 10, right? You want to say something like, hey, can you believe it's been another year that you've been on this oily journey? I'm so thankful that, you know, you're on this with me, and I'm so excited for you. What's been your favorite product this past year? And since it's your oil-iversary, I'm going to give you whatever, a $5 credit on your next whatever, right? You can offer them something. So you can set that up literally once, and then you don't even have to think about it anymore. When you add people to that campaign, they're now going to get a message every year on the anniversary of their sign up. That's your oil-iversary message. And birthday's the same thing. It's just that we don't have birthday data, right? We don't have birthday information in the BO. You can get it and import it if you have that information. You could also, you could do this. You could create a birthday club. You could have a keyword called birthday. When we're going to do that right now too. So I don't have any of your birthdays, right? You just texted me and all I have is your phone numbers. Watch this. I'm going to go create a keyword. I'm going to call it birthday. And in the birthday keyword, I'm going to create a reply, and I'm going to say, let's see, so excited you want to be a part of the birthday club. Every year on your birthday, you will get a nice surprise message. Well, if I can type, still can't type. From me. Fill out your contact info here. I'll come and fill that in a second, so I know when your birthday is. So I want to send them a link where they can fill out information, including their birthday. So I'm going to insert a dynamic field. That's what this little button here is. I could include their first name, last name, but I don't have any of those. I don't have any of that data for you guys. So I'm going to actually include the contact link. So what's going to happen is when you get the text message, all of you, when each of you get the text message, you each will get a different link. And you can click the link on your phone and fill out your information, first name, last name, phone number, and your birthday. So I'm going to save that as my message. I do want to tag them all as birthday, no campaigns. We'll do a 0 delay for now. So if you send me now the word birthday, you should get a message back. So someone did it here. Let's see. Let's wait. It's going to take a second. Oh, you are getting the shake content too.
Oh yeah. Shake.
See, I didn't even do anything. You're getting the shake content, and I did that a while back.
It's like magic.
All right. So like whoever this number is, 4077, right? They got so excited you want to be part of the birthday club. Fill out your contact info here. When they click this link and they fill out their info, if they give their birthday information, I'll now have their birthday, and I can just add them manually to my birthday. Actually, I don't even have to, yeah, to my birthday campaign. So I would go create a campaign. I'll do that while people are messaging me. whatever, birthday.
That's what he was created, that he timed 102, 104, 106. And he said, I'm gonna send this out.
So the shake content was one of his.
That was the message, just he.
Like that, you would
describe-
push your shake
And then
content.
describe
and
the shake
now
down,
that's
describe the shake, your sleep.
Sleep
Oil
dome,
or
might
whatever.
be heated oil.
Yeah.
How would you shake?
Okay, the dynamic. Now I got sleep. Listen to that.
I really need a unicorn emoji in here. Okay, we'll use the horse.
So when you sync your contacts from Oily Tools,
Yep.
does it automatically sync the anniversary date they signed up to?
As long as when you import, and I'll show you. So hold that thought. Don't let me forget it, but hold that thought because I'll show you what importing looks like and where you would do that in the import. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say, boom, happy birthday. You get a free unicorn.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
What did you put in that field?
Where did I do that? Whenever I was constructing the message, and you can do it anywhere. Anywhere you're constructing a message, chat, templates, anywhere, there's a little button. Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
So when you click that, those are what we call dynamic fields, and you can insert them into your messages. So if you had the first name of your people, you inserted the first name, it would say, hey, Sally, hey, Ben, hey, Jerry, right? I inserted the contact link field so that it would generate a custom link for that particular person that they can click on to fill out their contact info for me.
Did you have to include the birthday though somewhere? Check the birthday box, or
How did it automatically do the birthday thing?
Yeah, with this-
So what I'm trying to do is collect birthday data because I don't have it. So I told people if they want to be part of the birthday club, they're going to have to click this link. When they click the link, I'm just going to click somebody's link so you can see what it looks like. When you click the link, this is what they get.
Right.
First name, first name, last name, and then you can also supply your birthday.
But our question is, how did you finagle it so that it just showed first name, last name, birthday month, and birthday?
I didn't. That is what that form always looks like.
The contact link is
Yep.
always those
Yep.
4 boxes. Brilliant.
Exactly.
Okay.
In the future, that'll be customizable. You'll be able to create your own forms.
Okay.
So right now, think of that as the only form we have.
Okay.
First name, last name, birthday. But in the future, we want to make it where you can actually build your own form and insert your own link form in the message, which would be cool. Because some people use custom fields and they want to collect data into the custom fields as part of that process. But we don't support that today.
Okay.
So if I refresh this, hopefully I've got some names now. There's Skyla. There's Janice. So let's go to Skyla. And I'm going to just click on Skyla because I want to see if she gave me her birthday. And she did. Her birthday is January 29th. So I got her birthday now. What?
I'll be expecting my unicorn.
So what I would do now is I could start adding when I go into my chat, like with Skyla, I want to add her to my birthday campaign. I have to wait until she fills out the contact info because I can't add her to a birthday campaign if there is no birthday on the contact. So this would be kind of a 2-step process. I would collect the birthdays, and now I would go add Skyla to my birthday campaign, and I can do that manually. I can go to the campaign, go to birthday. I want to add a contact to it, and I want to find Skyla, right? And I'm going to add selected. So now on January 29th, she'll get her free unicorn message.
Yes.
And I start building up, these birthday people. Now for us in Young Living, we have to do this little bit of a multi-step process because we don't have birthday data. In other companies, like the birthday is a part of their back office. So when they import, they have a birthday column. So they just import all their people with their birthdays, and now they can add them to a birthday campaign. We got to do a little bit more work, but not too much. Like for this, yes, I have to add Skyla manually to my campaign, but I could, if I could make it where it was fully automated, right? I could create a keyword called birthday club, like we already had, or birthday, what did I call it? Birthday. And it says, so excited, you want to be part of the birthday club. Every year on your birthday, you'll get a nice surprise from me. Fill out your contact info here so I know when your birthday is. I could then say, once you're done, reply, whatever, birthday club, something, some other keyword. That keyword puts them in the birthday campaign. So I could do it in a fully automated way if I wanted to. You would just have to put a little bit more instruction for, the recipient that, hey, go fill this out. And then when you're done, reply with this other keyword, and it automatically drops them into the campaign. So you could automate the process.
Jake, I have a question.
Yeah.
When you set up the birthday thing, and then you sent the link where it says projectbroadcast.com,
Mm-hmm.
is that gonna give, because that's the first thing that popped into my head was Project Broadcast, and I go Google it, and then I come text messaging.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So we have a new link. We bought a new domain. I think it's like pb.io. I think that's what it's called. And in the future, this won't say Project Broadcast anymore. It'll say like pb.io. And when you look, if you try to go to that website, there won't be a website there.
Okay, great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because I know still stay personal. I just was wondering, like, if it would make it non-personal, like they wouldn't think it was coming from you anymore.
That's possible. That's true. So if you wanted to, you could just ask them to give you their birthday, and then you manually update it on the contact as well. Or you could do a Google form, right? You could do a Google form.
But use the long URL.
Yes. You got to use the full URL. You can't use short URLs in PB, like bit.ly or tiny URL. They'll get blocked. But you could potentially do a Google form, and the form has, a column for phone number, because you got to have the phone number, first name, last name, birthday, make them put it in a specific format. And then when they're done, later you go and import that Google form, because when you do a Google form, it goes to a Google spreadsheet, which you can then export as a CSV file. And then you could import that into Project Broadcast as an import file. So if you used a Google form, maybe that would seem a little more, a little more personal, because it's just a Google form versus a Project Broadcast link. So that's possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right, so that's birthday. We talked about that. We talked about the different kind of campaign types. When you have stuff scheduled, like we should have some stuff still scheduled. If I go to that calendar icon, that's the schedule. You'll see that we've got messages scheduled for today. They may have all already gone out. Well, no, these haven't gone out. So we've got like the sleek shake one, the sleek oil, the sleek gum. Those are all scheduled for delivery. As I add more messages to the schedule, then it shows me what's in the schedule. It's just a way for you to see what messages are scheduled to go out to your people, because as you use PB and you're sending out like, new member welcomes and new rankers, you're going to have a ton of stuff in your schedule. People joining, campaigns and stuff.
How many campaigns can you have in PB?
It's unlimited. Everything. So the way we do pricing in Project Broadcast is the only thing you're really paying for is the number of messages you want to send. So again, this was why we wanted to kind of disrupt this market. I think it's stupid to limit people by like how many contacts they can have. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It doesn't cost me anything more for you to have 10 contacts or 10,000 contacts. That's just records in a database. So anything in PB that doesn't cost me money, it doesn't really cost you anything extra either. So contacts are unlimited, keywords are unlimited, templates are unlimited, campaigns are unlimited. What you pay for are the number of messages you want to send each month. We use a term called credits. So for the starter plan, we call it, that's the most affordable plan in Project Broadcast. It's $10 a month, and that gives you 500 credits. And a credit is basically a message. You send a chat message, that's a credit. You schedule a broadcast to 10 people, that's 10 credits. So you get 500 credits a month with the starter plan, and they roll over. So if you only use 200 the first month, The other 300 roll over, and the rollover is indefinite. There's no time limit on it. You've already paid for them. They're yours. The only time you lose them is if you cancel, or your credit card fails and it auto cancels after 3 times. So they're your credits. We don't take them back. And they, like I said, they roll over indefinitely. And then we have our basic plans, right? Starter, business, professional, enterprise. Those have a cost associated to them. They all have the exact same features. The only difference is how many credits you get a month. And then whenever we introduce a new feature that does cost us money, like outbound calling, we recently added outbound calling as a feature. Well, outbound calling actually costs us money. So in order to provide that, we have to figure out a way to offer it to you, but you not have to have it if you don't want it. So in Project Broadcast, in the More tab, we added this concept of add-ons. Under subscription, there's add-ons. And right now, the only add-on is outbound calling. You can add outbound calling. It's $5 per month. And that allows you to, actually, I'll show you exactly what it does. Watch this. Let me go make sure my call forwarding is enabled. It is, okay. I'm gonna go to my chat with Skyla. So from PB, the mobile app or the web, while I'm talking to someone, I can click those 3 dots and hit call contact. It's going to call my cell phone first, and then it's going to ask me to press 1 to continue. And now the system is going to call Skyla, and what she sees on her phone is my Project Broadcast number, not my personal cell phone number.
Hello, hello.
Wrong number, Bob. So the reason we have outbound calling now is you can fully use Project Broadcast as a business line. You can get incoming phone calls, send and receive text messages, and with the outbound calling feature, make calls to people, and what they see is your Project Broadcast number. They don't see your personal number. So whenever we add things like ringless voicemail, like ringless voicemail will be an add-on because it's actually kind of expensive. Ringless voicemail will be an add-on that you can add on top of your subscription. So whenever we add features that there's no cost associated to it, we don't charge for that. That's why you keep seeing whenever we do releases, we always add new campaign types, and we're trying to add as much value as we can. And there's no additional charge for those because they don't cost us anything, just time and time.
Do you get charged incoming messages? Or just
We do, you do not.
Oh, okay.
So we get charged for incoming messages, but we decided when we launched, we were not going to charge the user for incoming messages. So if you send a message to someone and they reply to it, right, that's an incoming message, we don't charge you for that.
So it doesn't cost a credit when people text you back?
No.
It's
No.
only the ones that we send out?
Yeah.
Holy crap, that makes a big difference here.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. We also don't charge you for incoming calls. So whenever we again, some of these decisions we made as a part of, we just felt there's certain things that what we call core. They're core to making Project Broadcast successful and honestly just beating everyone else in the space. Incoming messages being free was one of them. The other one was we wanted inbound calling to be free. So whenever someone calls your PB number and you have it enabled to forward to your phone, which you do in the More tab, there's a feature called call forwarding. So I've got it set as my number. I've got it enabled. I don't have allow all turned on. Allow all would mean anyone can call me. I've only got it where only my PB contacts can call me. That's what having this unchecked means. But, if Skyla were to call my PB number, it would then forward to my personal cell, and I could answer it. She never sees my personal cell number. That actually costs us money. Every minute costs us money. But it was one of those decisions in the beginning where we said in order to make it the best thing available, we don't want to charge for that. So incoming messages don't cost you anything, and inbound calls don't cost you anything.
Oh, okay.
All right, so then we've got,
I've got a question. Can I
Yep.
ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can we send videos?
No, and you can't, what most people don't understand is that you can't actually send videos on a regular text message either. We do it through like our iPhones, which is really sending an iMessage to another iPhone, not a text message. if you want to send a video, you want to basically create your video, upload it to YouTube, Vimeo, some online video tool, and then you send the link in the message.
Right? Just like short, they're short little videos. I'm talking about like short little videos.
Yeah, the challenge is, so in texting, the maximum MMS, which means multimedia message that you can send, is 1.5 megabytes. And for some carriers, it's only 700 kilobytes. So a video would be like less than a second for it to be under that size. So we don't do video because it wouldn't be of any value.
Okay.
Now you can put it on YouTube, put it on Vimeo, get the link to it, obviously, and put that in your message. And if you put it as the first or last thing in the message, your phone typically does what's called a link preview. That's where you'll see, like, the little thumbnail of the video itself instead of the actual link. That's called a link preview. Well, the phone will only do a link preview if the link is at the very beginning or at the very end. So depending on how you want to message someone, keep that in mind. If you want to send, a YouTube video and you want them to see the little preview, make sure it's at the very end or the very beginning. If you don't want them to see the preview, just make sure the link has, text before it and text after it so it doesn't do the link preview. Because sometimes you don't want it to do the preview. All right, so I'm going to go over templates. Templates are just an easy way for you to create reusable messages that you send all the time. So a great template, believe it or not, is just one called headshot. And all you have in that template is your headshot, picture of yourself. That's it. Because sometimes when I'm chatting with people, I need to send them that photo really quickly. And instead of me finding it on my phone or hunting for it somewhere, I can just in chat, I'll go back to my chat with Skyla. If I'm chatting with Skyla and I want to send her a template, I can click the little template button at the bottom of the chat. And again, you can use this button, the dynamic field button, the paperclip button, which is adding an image. You can use those everywhere you create messages, campaigns, schedule broadcast, everywhere. I'm just doing it here because it's easy for demo. I can click the template, select my headshot, and then just insert it and send it. So if you think about it from that perspective, a template could be the monthly promo. You could create a template each month for the monthly promo so that when someone texts you, oh my God, what's the promo this month? You can just click the template, select promo, hit the check mark, and not have to type that up every single time someone asks you what the promo is or what the directions are to your event or what day is the event, right? You could do a template for some event information. And then whenever you get a text about the event, you can just reply with the template.
They're covering all my stuff, babe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've just known you so long. It's, we're mind melded.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm about done. Tags are just a way to group contacts. We've already talked about that because you did it with keywords, right? We had a keyword set up that auto tagged. That's why I have all of you in these tags already, because when you sent me the keyword, it put you in that tag. But if I wanted to create my own tag, I could still do that. I could create a manual tag with the plus and call it whatever, VIP. And then I can add contacts to it and just add people to it or search for contacts or use the tag filter, any of those, ways to find contacts. I could even click the magnifying glass. Wherever you see a blue magnifying glass, that means there's an advanced search. So I can search for contacts by any of these things to narrow down who I want to select to add to my tag. And then I just, I add those people. And then I've got a VIP tag with whoever these people are. I probably ought to delete that because I don't know who those people are. Let me delete it. So that's tags. And then you've got the more tab. And there is a mountain of stuff in there, like bundles. Bundles are a way for you to share content. If you create a campaign and some templates that just rock the world, that you get great engagement, it's got good content, you can bundle that into a bundle and give someone your share code for that bundle and they can import it. And it creates an exact copy of it. So they can go in and change it after they import it and it's their version of it. It doesn't mess with your version of it. Importing, this is what I was going to go over. Let me go make sure I don't hit anything else in here though. Stats, that's pretty self-explanatory. Archiving is a way for you to soft delete a contact. So say you don't want to talk with anyone anymore. You don't even want to see them in the app anymore. You can archive them. That removes them from your view. Think of it like a delete. You can't text them and they can't text you anymore. So that's what archive is for. And then you got some account management stuff. You can set a referral code. If you are a Project Broadcast user and you are telling people about how awesome it is and you're not using referral code, well, that's dumb. Set a referral code. Give them the referral code. If they sign up with a referral code, they get 500 credits and you get 100 credits as a thank you for referring someone. You can manage your subscription. You can set broadcast hours. This is so that even though you may have campaigns that should go out at 2 a.m. because someone joined it at 1 a.m. and you had a time-lapse campaign with an hour delay, which means they would get it an hour later. If you want to, you can set up broadcast hours where it says, I only want you PB to broadcast on the app between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., whatever, and not on Sundays, whatever you say, right? And let's pretend it was supposed to go out at 2 a.m. Well, I don't broadcast during those hours, so the system will not send that message. And when it becomes your broadcast hours again, the next morning at 8 a.m., then it will send the message. So it's a way for you to control how the system is sending messages out on your behalf. Or what I had to do for my wife, because I love her so much, is we added this pause feature. This is so that if we're going to a movie or having a date night, instead of her having to mess with her broadcast hours, she can just pause it, say and save, and it overrides all the hours and it's paused. It will not send any automated messages for you because unfortunately, when you send a message and someone replies, you have this burning urge that if you don't reply immediately, somehow your phone will explode. And this is a way that you can pause it so it doesn't send the messages. So you don't have to worry about getting replies. Love you, babe. Custom fields. Yeah.
Oh, just real quick, is the referral code something that you can only see on your computer and not on mobile?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, that's only on the web.
I just didn't think you wanted me to have one.
Well, I get this asked a lot too. Why can't I update payment? Why can't I do the referral code? Why can't I change my subscription for mobile? And it's a very simple answer. If we provide payment functionality in the app, anything payment related, we have to give Apple 30% of the revenue that app makes.
No way.
So in order to do that, we'd have to increase the prices 30% across the board. So we said, and we did this with Oily Tools as well, in order to keep it as affordable as possible, we don't put anything payment related in the app. Nothing. You can't even sign up through the app. And that lets us be in the App Store because we're following Apple's guidelines, and it also lets us not have to give up that 30%, which keeps the price lower than it would be otherwise. And referral code is a payment-related thing.
Good.
Hey, I have a question.
Yep.
So if I schedule broadcast hours, that means when I'm working at midnight or at, let's say 11 o'clock at night, and I do a delay, or I want it to do a delay, but I don't put in 0, or I leave the delay at 0, it still won't send it out, right?
Correct. It'll send it when you become in broadcast hours again.
Still chat though.
Right? Now, chat ignores the broadcast hours because you're in chat with someone sending a message. Now, if you're in, and this happens a lot too, right? Kristy's in bed working at 2 a.m. and she wants to send a message to someone, but not at 2 a.m. So she would come in here, type a message. Well, not there, sorry. This little schedule tab, see this little button with the calendar and the plus? So from chat, I can schedule, oh yeah, I do have to type it in. So I can type my message and hit the little calendar icon here to schedule this message for tomorrow at 1 p.m. Right? I can schedule a chat that way.
Awesome.
The other thing I've done with this is when people tell me something, oh, I'm having surgery on Tuesday, I'll go ahead right then and say, message Tuesday at this time, how was surgery, how are you feeling?
Oh my.
Yes, right in the chat thread you can do that. It's great for follow-up too, because if you talk to someone, Kristy just did this recently too, someone was like, hey, check back with me in like 3 months or something. So literally right then she scheduled a broadcast for 3 months into the future to say, hey, just checking back with you like you asked me to, right?
Wow.
She didn't have to think about it. Oh, let me show the import thing real quick. And then I'm going to be done and hand it over to my wife. So import contacts, I'm going to select an import file. Your import file must be a CSV file. And I've got just a sample one that we'll play around with. somewhere in here. No, documents.
It was in the morning.
Oh, wait, that's not the right one. Sorry. I'm listening. What was the question?
Broadcast hours is under more where?
Under
Yeah.
Got it.
It's under more settings.
Got it.
So I selected my CSV file. When you select your CSV file, you have to do what we call map your columns in your file to the project broadcast fields, right? Your column in your document may be mobile phone. Well, I don't know that that's a cell phone. There's no way for me to know that. So you have to map all of the columns. It tries to guess some of the columns. Like phone, it will look for like mobile, cell, main. There's a couple it looks for. But if you look in the drop down, these are all of the columns that are in my CSV file. So when I was talking earlier about the anniversary and birthday, anniversary for Young Living people, if I scroll down, there's an anniversary drop down. So in your OT export, that field is called sign up date. So I would select the sign up date field, and when it imports, it will put whatever is in the sign up date column in the anniversary field for this contact. And now I can, create my Oiliversary campaign based on that. And then I have custom fields. There's a document in the Young Living Project Broadcast Facebook group, and I don't remember the order of it right now, but custom fields are just a way for you to store random bits of data. And the reason they're custom is that for, the Young Living business is different than a church or is different than a restaurant, right? So you can configure what these labels are. I called this one state and country, and you do that in the More tab. There's a custom fields section where you can just change the label of what custom one is everywhere in the app. And in the Young Living Project Broadcast Facebook group, there is a post or a document I did where I told you what I think these should be. And it's like custom one was a member number. That way, whenever you import a file from OT, it always puts the member number in custom one. And that's huge because now you can create a template with their link, putting custom one wherever the member number shows up in the link. And you could send now people their sign up link really easily. And some were like, the enroller, PGV, OGV, but there's a document or a post, I can't remember, in the YLPB Facebook group that tells you what I think they should probably be. But you would select all these things, right? You do the mapping. When doing Young Living data, all of our data in Young Living, the member name is in one field, right? It's Dempsey, Jake, or Jake space Dempsey, all caps. If you were to insert a dynamic field of first name and it's Dempsey, Jake, all caps, well, yeah, you're using a system. So we wrote some logic to support our Young Living people where in the first name and the last name, now this particular document, I have them separated, but just bear with me and pretend that first is where our member name is stored. I would choose that for last name and for first name. I would choose the same column for first name and last name, and our importer will smartly break them apart. So if it's Dempsey, Jake, all caps, it will say, oh, that's supposed to be Jake, first name, Dempsey, last name, only capitalize the first letters. If it's Jake, space Dempsey, all capital letters, oh, Jake is the first name, Dempsey is the last name. So it does its best to clean that up for you, and it does a pretty good job. Where it fails is when you have people with like business names as their member name. It doesn't know that Oily Mama isn't, someone's first and last name. It doesn't know. So just know that when you import OT data, most of the time you're going to want to select member name as the first name and the last name, so it breaks that apart and cleans it up for you.
And Jake, when we look at our CSV file, we could clean that up a little bit too, right? If we're doing, we can quickly scroll through our CSV.
Yeah, you totally do that. Your CSV file, I mean, you can clean up however you want before importing it, and then you can import that file as many times as you want. The importer will not create duplicates. So each month you could run an import to update the data like in the custom fields. Like let's pretend highest rank is one of your custom fields. Well, that's going to change over time. So you want to re-import that person at some point so that those custom fields get updated as well. I think people should be importing all the time. because if you're using PB right, you're usually running a report in the VO or an OT, importing into Project Broadcast, tagging that group as something like new rankers 2018 December, whatever. And then you're going to go send a message to all of the new rankers December 2018. And you're going to do the same thing next month, right, in 2019. So your workflow should be run reports in OT and the VO, import into Project Broadcast, send message to the people you just imported.
And because of that, that's why you're saying we don't really need a mass import the first time we use it. We could just be importing based on our.
Yeah, I think one of the things most people do, and I don't think it's a good idea. So some people use Project Broadcast, I think, in a spammy way. They import their entire team, and then anytime there's a sale or promo, they blast a single message to their entire team. And guess how much engagement they get from that? Almost none, right? Because when I open my chat with that person, when I open my phone text client with that person, all I see are sales promos for every month. So even if I knew it was a person sending it, all you care about is selling me something. So I'm not going to engage with it. I think where you get the biggest bang is you figure out how, and this is what Kristy will go over, how do you actually engage people with Project Broadcast? Because you want to be able to provide value to people and occasionally let them know about a sale. Occasionally let them know about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? If the majority of your messaging is sales and promo related, you're doing it wrong. Or you could be doing a lot better. I'll say it that way. You want to figure out a way to give content to people that actually adds them value and they engage with. And now whenever they get a sale or a promo from you, it doesn't feel like, again, from their perspective, that all you're doing is selling them product. So that's the importer. Again, if you've never used Project Broadcast, you should not be importing to start with. Jump into boot camp, because I've gone through this super fast. Again, there's 17 videos in boot camp that go over the stuff that we've just gone over in an hour, and much more in depth, much slower. I just wanted to give you kind of a real high level, dig into the features to show you what it can do. And I'm going to kind of hand it over to Kristy and let her talk about, well, when do you use it? How do you actually practically use it in a Young Living business? Honey, you there?
I'm here. Hold on just a second. Let's see.
How do you get your picture on now? I'm going to do that.
There we go. Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, hon.
Okay. Let me look this up.
Kristy, can you give us like 5 minutes so that people can do a quick bathroom break here?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
music or something? I don't know. I don't know.
I'll bring my Alexa in and let her play
There
music.
you go. And you need to get a water or something?
Yep, I'll be right back.
Does anyone have questions while we wait?
Yes, I do. On like in the chat section to schedule a mobile or schedule a message.
It's not in mobile yet.
Right. Okay. That's why I was like, I don't see the little icon at the bottom.
Yeah, we added it right before Black Friday, Cyber Monday to web. So in our next mobile release, which I think is going to be probably early February, it'll be in there.
Okay. Sweet. Awesome.
Jake, this is amazing.
Thanks.
Like you've done this before.
You know, I like solving problems.
Any music requests?
Oh, yeah. Are you going to sing?
Oh, no. I'm just going to turn on Alexa for you. So tell me a Pandora station or something.
You sing. I'll shake my nation. Shake.
All right, now you got to sing, babe.
Okay, so I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I got to figure out how to phrase this. So if I have been working towards doing better relationship building with people instead of just, I don't think I was ever truly spammy, but I think I was using too many graphics, not personal pictures.
Yeah.
I'll go over that in just a minute too.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm just telling you, I'm going to call you out. You need to be honest with yourself. If you were spammy, you were spammy. Doesn't mean that you can't get better. But if you were only sending sales, promo related stuff, you were spamming people.
Okay.
We'll go over some of that. That's really what I'm talking about, is just connecting with people, making it relational,
Good.
not spamming.
Yes. So and will you talk too about how you, like when you do your class type campaigns, do you use, Oil Revolution design sites graphics, or is that not personal?
I'll go over some of that too.
I'll be patient.
Okay. Any music requests?
I told you I want you could sing.
Something upbeat. Michael Jackson, upbeat.
Alexa, play Michael
Dubstep.
Jackson.
Okay, so do you guys really have company right now? You have company at your house?
Not right this moment.
Okay, I thought when we were planning, you said you were gonna have guests, and I was like, oh, but you're good. This is so awesome.
I don't know what this is playing. Is that Thriller?
Huh?
I was trying to.
Thriller. How do you not know what that is?
I was just making sure I heard all the little steps.
That is not Garth Brooks, babe.
No. Did they request Garth Brooks?
No. Well, who's the artist when we were first married? Like every song came on the radio. Like, oh my God, that's George Strait. Everything was George Strait.
Do a dance, Jake.
You want me to dance?
It would be entertaining.
No.
Hey, brownie points if anyone in the audience there knows how to do the Thriller dance.
Jackson probably does.
What was that?
I said, I wish we could share our goodies with you. We have Nutella bars
Oh my gosh.
and lemon bars.
Woo!
What is a Nutella bar? I didn't know that was a thing.
I don't know, but it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
That looks delicious. Oh no worries.
They're treating us well.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think this is kind of the way to have a party. Just let somebody else do all the cooking.
Oh, I'm taking notes. Trust me. I may be calling you later.
Perfect.
So if I had all my project broadcast hours as not filled out, has it not been sending things?
No, if it's blank, it means we can send it anytime.
Okay.
But as soon as you fill out one of the days, that does mean that it will only send on those days.
So I can leave Sunday totally blank.
If you leave Sunday totally blank and fill out every other day, that means that it will send on every day but Sunday. It's only when it's completely blank, it's a special, send all the time.
So 90 days ago.
All right, ladies,
Are we ready?
I think we need to regroup because we're still recording.
Okay. Yes.
My apologies to everyone who watches this afterwards. I hope you took advantage of that.
That break time. Okay. I'll turn this a little bit better lighting. What was funny is, okay, so I was a kindergarten teacher before, and I'm all about the needing to move and take a mental break and all that stuff. So I was totally thinking, like, I'm going to have you guys stand up. So we're really going to do this. Y'all stand up. It's going to take like less than a couple minutes.
All right.
All right, everybody stand up, and y'all can totally laugh together. So this is what I did with our kids when we were sitting a long time. We had to wake up our brains and celebrate together. So if you have, any of you have preschoolers or young kiddos or young grandkids? Okay, totally, you can use this with them. So take notes. These are little, what we called celebrations we would do in our circle time. So here's one. You're going to get out your cheese. It's pretend. Get out your cheese. Get out your grater. And then you're going to take your cheese and go, you're great, 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 great. Get out your cheese. Get out your grater. Y'all say it with me. You're great, 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 great. Okay. This one is called looking good. So you're going to take your fingers and you're going to like draw a square around your beautiful face. And we're going to do a little, like you're doing a click, click, click thing. Ready? And we're going to go. And then you got to go, looking good. All right, you ready? Here we go. Looking good. Yay! Okay, one last one. Hold on. Here we go. This one is the firecracker. So you take your hands and you're going to sizzle them because the little fuse is going down. And then you got to make your firecracker go all the way up above your head. Clap it. Explode it, and then you whee all the way down. All right, you ready? Let's do it again. Sizzle. Goes up. Explosion. Whee! Okay, now y'all can sit down. No, we gotta have fun sometimes, guys. I mean, I can only take so much seriousness in numbers, and then my brain turns off. It's just me. My personality. And Jake knows this, that when we talk about finances or numbers, he's got 15 minutes of my time and then I'm out. So he says 7. So that was a long ride for me just now. So good job to you guys for hanging in there. That was a lot of information. So if any of you tend to be that blue personality type, you're not alone. If you're like, wow, I got the first bit and then I was out, I'm gonna have to watch the replay. Totally okay and normal. So it's all right. So some of the things that I want to talk about are just kind of the practical side. I'm going to pull my table in really quick. Don't mind me. I'm going to sit on my couch while I talk to you guys. More the practical side of using Project Broadcast so that it feels more relational, because that's really how and why I use Project Broadcast is the connection, the relationship. I want people engaging with me. I want them to feel like we're having a conversation, that they're not intimidated to reach out to me when they need something. And to do that, you've got to treat Project Broadcast like your personal phone text system. So while this is a program, I try to tell people all the time, like it is a program. It's not just an app that you open, click, click, and then boom, you made something awesome happen. You really have to learn and invest in understanding the program. It's 1,000% worth it because it literally is building in like a virtual assistant for you in a lot of ways. It's saving you a ton of time, but you have to realize just how much time it's saving you. Because when you send out a message to say 200-300 people, you've got to understand how long that would have taken if you had done that individually, so that you understand the savings of time up front. Yet at the same time, you want to make sure that you create time on the response side to chit chat with these people. Of course, not everyone's going to all respond all at once. If you send out 200, you're not going to get 200 immediate replies, especially if these are people you don't have established long-term friendship relationships with. But the goal is that they start to understand that you are a place and a source where people can reach out, ask questions, and communicate with them. So PB is a program. It's not a click and go app. You want to remember when you're scheduling out any type of broadcast that's going to a mass group, not just a one-on-one individual person, you want to schedule in reply time before you sit down and hit go on your broadcast. So if it's a campaign or you're pushing something out to lots of people, as soon as you push go on that, you need to be available. because when people send a personal text to you, or you send a personal text to someone else, say a family member or a friend, especially if there's a question involved, like it tends to be a back and forth thing. And if you send something out and you're not available to answer somebody's immediate question back, it starts to feel a little bit spammy. Like, okay, well, they sent me this and they said welcome. They asked me if I had any questions. Now it's taken them 1 to 2 days to respond. And like Jake was saying in the beginning, that reply, the read rate and the reply rate is super fast in the texting world. So you have to play that role and be prepared for that when you're sending out large messages. So I tell people to set aside at least, a good 45 minutes probably per, around 45 minutes to an hour if you're sending out about 200, just to make sure that you're available. It may not take you that much time, and you may not get that many replies depending on your message and how well constructed it is, how the questions are relayed, if it's all, there are a lot of variables at play. But just as a good rule of thumb, when you first start, and you'll start to get a better feel for what that is for you and your team, for your engagement level. But I want you to go ahead and schedule that in your calendar when you're planning out a PB, so that it doesn't become something that's overwhelming to you, and you've planned and prepared that time as work time to be responding back and forth. And the computer is your friend. If you know how to type, guys, responding on a computer on the projectbroadcast.com is way faster and easier to flip through and navigate and type messages back and forth to several people messaging you at once. So for me, if I'm sending out something, I want to be in front of my computer with Wi-Fi and ready to go to respond back to people if I'm sending out a pretty big message. And I also made a note here that selfies are huge. So I know a lot of people don't like taking selfies, but it adds such a personal touch, and it doesn't have to be a headshot, right? Like a headshot's good for maybe an intro or a welcome thing and letting people know who you are. But I use selfies for other things too. For instance, when While Go came out and launched, I went and found the logo image and printed it off on an 8x10 paper really large, stuck it on one of my Young Living empty boxes and taped it on there, and had a friend go outside and take a picture of me holding the box with that logo taped on the box. And I was like, holding it. And that was the picture I sent out to announce to people like, oh my goodness, did you see this? I just want to let you know, if you want to know more, message me back. Or maybe, I can't remember if I put in the link that Young Living had to explain While Go. So selfies are huge. I even did that for like sales. Instead of doing graphics that you just build out on that are just sales graphic kind of things, if the more personal you can make it, the better engagement you'll have. So when you're in it, or if you have something personal that you're holding, or it's your home, people can sense and tell that the difference of that versus something you've built with stock images and stuff like that. So just remember that pictures go a long way if they're personal. You don't always have to do that. So don't feel like you got to go do a selfie for everything. But for me, that's a way that I like to build community and personal touches, is for me to be in as many as I can. And you can make a day of it. Make a day of doing some selfies in different hops or whatever. Have a friend over and take some pictures and have them saved for different things. Like maybe one of them is you holding the PSK. And maybe one of them is you sipping some Nixia. Maybe one is you working at a computer. And you can have those as templates saved so that you can have them ready to go for different situations.
Can I say something real quick too, sweetheart?
Yes.
So previous to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you almost always had to include an image. Otherwise, it was possible your message got chopped up. So if you send a long text message, and this isn't a PB thing, you can do this from your phone. If you send a long text message from your phone, it's possible it gets chopped up into a bunch of smaller text messages and then delivered to the end recipient. Depending on the carrier, it's between 80 and 160 characters is when they start chopping it up. So people got in the habit of, when they were writing their messages in PB, they were always including an image. Well, we added a feature around Black Friday, Cyber Monday time where we call it auto MMS. So even if you type a longer message now, we will automatically force that message to be sent as an MMS, even without an image. So you don't have to always include an image now, even when it's long. So you can write, a 300 character message and not force yourself to go find an image to go with it, which is what was happening. So now you should use images when they make sense.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know that I was aware of that change. That's awesome. Thanks. Noted. Telling you guys.
You should read my posts in the group, girl.
Blue and yellow. That is me. I'm sorry. That's my personality. I know. I got to get better at all the details. Okay. So Jake, whenever the broadcasting scheduling hours, you guys, I am so blue yellow. Y'all should see all the sticky notes I have in here. This is my world. So I'm like, yep, did that. Okay. So yes. Okay. So another thing that I want to talk about is like, you can do your welcome text, like for people that joined your team last month. The first, I would say probably like maybe the 4th or 5th of the next month, you can have it on your calendar or schedule it out and have a welcome sent out to those new members. Remember, you do need to do a new import, right, for those new people that joined. If you haven't updated your project broadcast, when you're sending out that welcome to new members, but you can do an extraction of new members in OT or the VO and make that an import with a tag, new members, the month and year, so that you have them tagged and then schedule that out. But welcomes, I like to keep them as short as possible with a question so that it's probably their first engaging text from you. This is where a headshot might be nice just to introduce yourself, and keeping it as short and simple as possible. And mine is kind of just checking in with them to see how they're enjoying their Young Living products they purchased in the month of, and then I say the month, so it makes it personal. So like, hey, this is Kristy. I'm a part of your oily mentorship, or so I can't remember exactly what I said, or one of your layers of leadership in Young Living, or an oily mentor, or something like that. And then say, I just basically am saying, I wanted to check in and see how you were enjoying your Young Living products so far that you purchased last month, or you can say the month. Are there any questions I can help you with? And then maybe another question of what was it's hard to get too specific because you don't know exactly what they purchased. Like you may want to say, I'm just curious what you started to diffuse, but then if they didn't get a diffuser and they got a basic kit, now they're like, well, I didn't get a diffuser. So it's up to you how you want to word it, but just think through, depending on how large of a group you're sending it to, it becomes a little bit more vague, but you can still ask a question to ignite conversation. If you're sending it to maybe 3 people that joined your team last month and they were your personal enrollments, you can make it as personal as you want. And you could say, how's your Thyromin that you added on to your PSK working out for you, right? You can get personal that way. But your welcomes, it's great to add a picture with that, make it short, ask questions. And this is a great place where the reason I make it short and ask a question is my goal is to get them to engage with me before I give them all the resources and connections and information. Because sometimes if the very first text somebody gets and they don't know you, they're like, 5, 6 levels in your organization down, and this is the first time they heard from you, and they get 6 paragraphs, they're like, wow, who is this person, right?
Yeah, so I want to kind of reiterate what she said. This is super important. You don't want people to read your messages. You want people to reply to your messages. Like that's a real different way of thinking about it. Mm-hmm. If you're writing a message for the sole intent that they read it, they won't engage. If you're writing a message with the intent that you want them to reply, you're going to think about how you construct the message differently, and that'll create real engagement.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the number one goal for me is to get them to respond, because we know, just like whenever people purchase things from you, people purchase from people they know, like, and trust. So if these are people that you haven't connected with on a personal level yet, you've got to build that trust over time and that relationship over time. And so if you can make things short and sweet and inviting for them to ask you questions back. For me, I would rather have, you know, a big group of people not respond at all and a small group of people that do respond, that are ready to engage with me, then just send out this blanket thing and be like, well, at least I covered them all. At least I did it all, you know? And then they all have this massive text and they're like, well, that was annoying, right? And they're kind of putting it aside. So that's why the very first message I like to make as short and sweet as possible. Now, I tend to separate out my personal enrollments from all my, with new members. When it comes to new members, I like to separate my personal ones from the rest of my team, because my personal enrollments, I really want to be personal with that welcome message, right? And the others, I really am seeking to engage. Hopefully for your personal enrollments, you already know them well. They already know, like, and trust you. And that message can look a little different because they may have your personal phone number and now you're introducing them to your Young Living number. And so you can make that message to your personal enrollments look a little bit different. The other thing that I really love to do is to create keyword opt-ins, because this puts your people in the driver's seat and in control of receiving messages from you. So I've done a message. So we live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, famously known for DFW, right? Stands for Dallas Fort Worth. And so I did a keyword to my team and I just said, hey, if you want to know about local events, get-togethers, anytime we're having team things going on or Young Living things happening in the area, message me the keyword DFW and I'll make sure that you stay in the loop. And so now I have this collection of people in my team that are all under one tag that want to know about things happening in our area. So anytime we have a local class, or like if you're doing the transformation headquarters over there, you could do that THQ keyword or something for your people and team to say, yes, I want to know when those classes are coming or anything special about that. So I do that for our upline, Danette Goodyear, that's local to this area. That's one of the things that I do to build team camaraderie is I have them do the keyword DFW, but now what I'm doing is anytime she has a class, which is monthly outside of December, I will send the link for tickets and information on the class and an invitation to hang out after the class and go get appetizers together. I'll send that out to them as soon as she releases the ticket link for that monthly class. So this gives an opportunity to keep them connected, let them know there is training available to them, but it also is giving them an option to come and hang and fellowship together, which is huge for me. And it's huge for a lot of these ladies too. I can't tell you how many of them come to the appetizers afterward and they're like, you know, I love the classes, there's amazing information, but I live for this right here. They're like, I need just girlfriend time and decompression time. And, you know, some of them they have childcare that they operate out of their home and all they hear is just babies all day long and they're being talked at all day long. And so they just want an opportunity to have engaging conversations back and forth. So that's a really special thing that we do too. You can do this kind of concept with anything, any type of event. So like Jake said, I've done this for convention where I had the team opt in with the word freedom. And so leading up to convention, I had different things that I did. I even did some giveaways and stuff that were fun for those people that had opted in and were tagged with that keyword freedom. I knew all these people were a part of our organization. So I could send, you know, reminders. I could send a welcome, like today's your first day of convention. And even the ones that opted in freedom, I would say, you know, take this, if you will, please take this quick survey so that I can better serve you while you're at convention. And so that Google form was like, you know, is this your first convention? Are you going to Farm Day? Which day are you going? So I could really customize those messages that I sent out later, and I scheduled some so that I even asked them like what day they're arriving in Utah. And so then I could send out a PB and schedule that so that I could say, welcome to Utah. I'm so excited that you've chosen to invest in yourself and come to a convention and experience the true culture of Young Living, blah, blah, blah. And so I had that welcome pop up to them when they, the day that they were arriving in Utah. So you can totally customize this platform and this tool to connect with your people. But what I'll say is that it's worth the time and investment to understand the platform and the program, because once you understand it, that's when the creativity can really just blossom. literally limited only to your own creativity on how to do that. But if I didn't spend the time doing that hard mental work of playing with it and experimenting with it, then I couldn't have done that. Let me see, what else do I have? Yep. So you can use the things that I wrote down were like reminders, recognition, welcomes, and follow-ups. Those kind of things are all really great. Jake mentioned a few of the things I was going to talk about, so that's already been covered. But reminders, it could be for things all the way up here, like convention, down to things that are local and leaders are hosting for you, like the transformation headquarters, to even smaller levels of your own personal 101 classes, or the co-host, right? This is where I was thinking on, if you have, if you're hosting a 101 and you've got a list of people that are planning to attend, you can message them privately and just say, hey, I'm so excited that you're coming. Do you mind sharing your text number with me so I can remind you as we get closer to the date? And that way you'll have my address and you have my number if you have any questions in getting here or anything like that. So that could be a way that you could go ahead and plug in those prospective members that are coming to your class into PB, and you can tag them however you like to help you know that these are people that are prospects, or which class they're attending. So it could be, you just put 101 underscore and then the date, or you could do 101 prospect underscore date, however you want to tag and delegate people out. But do y'all kind of see how it's really like unlimited on how you can use this? As long as you're specific with your tags, then you can group people however you want. And instead of onesie, twosie, every single person, you can kind of group people together. So it makes it easier for you to remember, easier to follow up, and you can schedule things out for them too. So if you had a 101 class with 6 people coming and you had them all tagged under one tag, you could schedule something out to then follow up with them 2 days or a day after and just saying thank you for coming and I appreciate you being here. Because you can always, you can edit your people and tags and things like that and stuff later too. I feel like I'm jumping into too much. I don't want to overload you guys, but
This is what I want. This is good.
this is good.
I don't know about everybody else.
Yes.
Is
Excellent.
this good stuff for y'all?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the other things that, like Adam Green a long time ago, I loved listening to some of his calls, and one of the calls he said, the question was like, I always feel really intimidated with follow-up because like, what if they really didn't want the box, they just bought it for me or whatever. And I loved this, and it was a mindset shift, right? He was like, think of this. If you made a personal investment of your own money and you bought something and you went home and you never heard from anyone again, and you didn't know quite how to fully utilize that investment, and you just sat there half using it or not using it at all, do you feel more or less sold at that point? You feel more sold because you didn't actually get to use your stuff fully. So he was like, why not, at the point that you're helping someone get their kit, you basically make a commitment to them up front, and you say, I am so thankful that you've decided to invest in this for yourself. I want you to know that I'm going to be following up with you just so that you have the opportunity to ask me questions, because they probably are going to come up after you leave and go home, or when the box arrives, you might forget something. And I just want you to know that I'm here for you. Like, part of the benefit and what you're getting is more than just the box. It's also my support. So I want you to know that you can expect a call from me in about 7 to 14 days. And it's only an opportunity for you to be able to ask me questions and make myself available to you. So I loved that mindset shift, so that it's a service, right? They know that when you call, what the expectation is and what the call is about when you set it up like that. But now that we're in a texting world predominantly, you can let them know up front when they're there that you'll be sending them a text, within a few days, just to give them an opportunity to ask you questions and see if there's anything that you can do for them or help serve them in any way. So that sets it up so that you can do a keyword called follow-up, right? And anyone that's getting started, your personal enrollments, you can go ahead and schedule that as soon as you get home, and you can have a template with what you want to say. and schedule it as soon as you get home, so that within however many days you committed to and told them, it's exact, it's on point. No matter what happens that day for you, you've already scheduled it that night when you get home. So you're following through with your commitment and your side.
Some leaders even have a new member onboarding campaign where it's like a 10-day campaign. Yes. And when they sign someone up, they add them to the onboarding campaign so that the system's automatically sending them a message each day about, hey, here's how you open and use a diffuser. Here's the oils that are in the kit.
And the same thing, you know, with that, you can ask them, and this is another big thing for me in communication and relationships is, have any of you ever heard of like permission-based marketing and stuff? It's basically helping your people to feel like they're in the driver's seat. So you can even at the time of enrollment say, would it be okay if, and that's a huge starter question that you can ask, would it be okay if I went ahead and sent you some text? It's just brief text that are giving you some tips and ways to make sure that you're maximizing this investment for yourself. So you can ask them that when they're getting started and they say yes, then you can plug them in. I really like that because then you don't have those people who are like, why are you sending me this? Or what is this? They've asked for it. And so you can do that at the time when they enroll. And
there's also, so there's a document in the main Project Broadcast Facebook group. I think it's called like best practices and acceptable use. It goes over the 3 different types of messages that you send through text and what consent is actually required to send those types of messages. So for example, if you're just having a conversation with someone, you don't really need explicit written consent for that because it's a bi-directional conversation already. But if you're just, well, here's my example. Let's say you imported your people and the first thing you did was send them a promo message. That's a promotional type message asking them to buy something. And you're supposed to have expressed written consent to do that. So you're technically breaking the FCC's law on spam if you're just blasting promo information to someone who never asked for any type of promo information. So make sure to check out that document. It goes over the different types of content, what type of consent you should be getting for those. And there's some other best practices in there on like stop keywords and stuff that's real helpful.
And that's where too, even on like, if you wanted to, if you got conversation going with your new people that you're just asking a quick question, you're chit-chatting with them, you could also say, would it be okay if I message you our company's monthly promotions on the first of the month, each month? And then, you know, when they answer you, you immediately can apply a certain tag that lets you know these are people that said yes to wanting that. And then that way, when you send out or schedule that, you can just include that tag. Let's see. Can manually apply. Recognition's another big thing. Most of you probably know this. I know that Skyla was saying over half of you have pretty good around 200 plus people in your organizations. And so at that point, you're really like probably having monthly recognition, rank advancements, or maybe you're having first time enrollment, several people that are doing their first time enrollments each month. Maybe you're having people every month that are new to ER. So these are all things that are areas where you can schedule some templates and watch for these things to be happening in Oily Tools. If you have that, you know, you can get pop-up notifications on first time enrollments, things like that. And I think, did you have Oily Trends? Is that right?
Correct. Yep.
Yes. So there's a lot of like tools and things there too that will pop up different notifications. So things like rank advancements, first time enrollers, new to ER, those are all really big things for people. And the more people that recognize them and doing that, the better. The more they feel a part of that. It's like that whole people work harder for praises than raises. And a lot of times, especially women, we're seeking that acknowledgement of something that we've put extra effort toward. And so it's really valuable to utilize PB to send those kind of things out. I think that's most of what didn't get covered before.
I'll give you some other quick ones.
Okay.
So and this is where you do combinational stuff with Oily Tools and with Project Broadcast. You want to run reports like every week of find all the people on ER that are close to getting the promo, and then message them that they're close to hitting the promo. Like if you run a report in OT right now and say, give me everyone with, ERPV greater than 170 and less than 190 that hasn't processed yet, you're going to have people with like 189.25.
And you want to, and yes, and I love doing that, but also you can put an additional filter for their ER day, because a lot of people edit their auto ship, right? They'll edit that within a couple of days. So I usually just stick to like that day and the day after.
So another one is run a report for last month and go find all the people who had PV greater than or equal to 50 and ERPV equal to 0. These are people who could be on ER, they're just not. That's a great list to send people saying, hey, I saw that you bought products last month. Did you know that Young Living offers a rewards program? If you want to learn more about it.
Yeah, with that one that he just said, I also do the sign-up date so that it's not that existing month. Because there could be people that just enrolled that month.
Right.
Have that.
So you send a message to those people and you basically let them know we have a rewards program, and if they want to learn more, let me know. Or reply ER, right? Something where they can get a drip campaign that teaches them about what ER is, why it's awesome, and how they can sign up for it. And that's a very low friction message, right? They're already buying product. You're not asking them to buy anything. You're trying to help them buy it in a more affordable way, and way they can earn.
And any type of like team incentive that you're doing, if you're doing an incentive with your team, you could have them opt in if they're participating, and that when they opt in with a keyword, you can have a keyword reply so that when they message you the keyword, they automatically get the reply that you've set up. So you could do that opt-in for an incentive to participate in an incentive, and then when they send that keyword, it will automatically reply. You could have your long Google form URL included in that if there is a Google form you've created to include with your incentive. And so they have all the information in the Google form right there by opting into your team incentive. And you could do that for a get-together. You could do it for an incentive, like really anything. But I like the opt-in with the keyword and have the reply. And any type of information that you need to gather, you could put together a Google form and embed that on the reply.
Hey, Kristy, quick question. When you said use the long Google form address, did I hear sometime that Project Broadcast does not like the bit.ly?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you
they
have a
will
bit.ly,
not send it. If it's a short bit.ly or even the Google, when you create a Google form and you say make short, if you click that short in the link and you send that, it's going to kick it back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do that because if you were to send a text message from your normal phone and have a bit.ly URL in it to a friend, it will probably go through. But when you're sending the exact same bit.ly URL to say 50 people a couple seconds apart, every single time it will get flagged as spam, and potentially you'll get put on a blacklist by the carriers. So we catch that on the PB side and don't send the message.
Okay, very good.
So yeah, you can also, the other things you could do is, if you're, I don't know how many of you, like your people, there are lots of people that are still on Facebook. There are some that are not. And so this is another great way to keep people plugged in. Campaigns can be on anything, right? So it could be on product knowledge. If you're doing a sleek thing like Jake was showing you in the example before, it could be on business related things. So you could say like have a getting started for your business builders and have a campaign drip to kind of walk them through some important pieces. You could have people opt in for even like your IPA, end of month IPAs, right? Like a reminder for end of month IPAs, your income producing activities. You could have people opt into that, and however you want to keyword that, if you want an EOM IPA for end of month IPAs. So people in your team that are business builders could opt into that. And then maybe on the 20th each month, you have a bullet list graphic that goes out to them on, or even just your wording on the key things they need to remember to do before the end of the month, and make sure nobody gets left out with unprocessed ERs or money missers or whatever. And
so many people, you know, we all know, right, that what is it, 8% of people do the business. So 92% of the people in your team are really product users. So you could also set up, you know, a campaign or keyword for, you know, like a monthly recipe or a cleaning hack or a toxin info campaign, right? A ditch this, use that type thing. So I think what the big thing to think through is that when you look at PB, it is, I think it's real, you get anxious and you're like, I just installed it. Now I got to go start blasting messages to people. And I would say, slow down. do boot camp if you haven't done it, because that will make you slow down, because you'll have to do boot camp first, right? And then before you send anything, just sit down and brainstorm, hey, what kind of messages, what kind of content would I like to send to people? Would I like to do, you know, an ER reminder? Would I like to do a prospecting campaign around the Savvy Minerals, because I'm a huge Savvy Mineral fan, right? Think about how and what you want to send to people, and then just make the tool do that. What most people do, unfortunately, is they start making the tool do stuff, and they haven't really thought about how or what they want to do with the tool. They just start sending messages. So take some time to brainstorm.
I just wanted to add too that this is a lot of ideation that I'm throwing at you. It's just ideas, right? So just like if you go anywhere else and you just get a ton of information thrown at you, I want to give you complete permission and actually encourage you to only take on maybe one idea and thing per month. Like maybe you work on just your welcome message this month, and then next month you're going to work on something else, because if you have all these ideas all at once and you're trying to tackle it all, you're going to just throw your flag up and be like, this is overwhelming. I can't get that done. So give yourself permission and room to know that this content is here for you to refer back to, and take it slow so that it's effective, right? You would rather have quality over quantity with this. So take your time and just do one thing at a time, master that, and then move on to the next thing.
And your credits don't expire. So don't worry about, you know, you got to send all 500 that first month. If you only send 50, fine, 450 roll over to the next month, right? So you're not losing anything if it takes a little bit more time to build up, you know, the ways you want to use it.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Heather?
I got a question for you. So what does it look like for your team when you have other leaders, project broadcast? Kristy, I heard what you said about sending to people you personally enrolled, but do you also send to every new member on your team anyway?
So I think this is something that's very personalized for each person and each team even. I think it's helpful to know your team and to know your upline and your leadership, and even in your downline leadership. So for me, I have one particular leg that has several diamonds layered, and so I don't even message that string at all because I know they've got it. And this is a personal decision. I think we're independent distributors, so we have to make our own independent decisions on this, on what we think would be most effective for our teams. And so even though all those diamonds, they are my team as well, I know how involved that those diamonds are with messaging their people. And so I made the personal decision to not include them on things because they have multiple layers of people regularly and consistently taking care of them.
But in the same token, right, we also have leaders who say they, you know, take care of their people that may not as well as they should.
Right. And this is why I'm saying, like, it's such an individual thing. I really think I can't make a blanket statement that's going to fit everybody. And I would just say, you know, for everyone listening or even watching this back, I would say talk to your nearest diamond and ask them for guidance on that, because, you know, there are some leaders in my team that may be like, can you not message my people? And I honestly am like, I'm sorry, I need to, because this is my team too. And there are months that you are consistent and will follow through. And then there's months that they'll fall out for 5 months. And I'm like, I'm not willing to let that risk sit there. So that's a personal decision for me. And I'm okay with ruffling a few feathers if it means that my team in general is, I can feel confident that they're being, there's a touch point with the they're with my entire team outside of those diamonds. So
well, I'm gonna need you to stop messaging my team. Okay.
So, you know, and I think honestly, the other part is that sometimes I would ask a question like, why, if it's someone that I'm wondering and I want to ask questions, be like, you know, why would you ask that? Is there a situation? Because you got to think about masses too, right? If you're messaging thousands of people, of course, there's going to be some that are just, you hit them on a bad day or whatever happens, you know, and they're like, well, you know, so-and-so got upset because they just didn't know who you were and blah, blah, blah. So then there's number one, well, are you edifying your leadership? Because if they, you know, that means you never mentioned who I was. But then the other side is, you know, there are going to be, I've got to make sure that I'm taking care of and doing my job. And that may mean that one or two people here and there want to say stop or opt out, and they totally can. But I'm comfortable taking that risk and being okay with a few people opting out, knowing that the masses have a place where they know they can come to and multiple layers of leadership that they can turn to, so that if, you know, 6-8 months down the road, they're like, I have no support, I didn't hear from anyone. I've got layers of proof in my stream of texting showing I did reach out to them. I welcome them. They had my number to be able to reach out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think also, I think you talked about this, Kristy. What we saw, Kristy started messaging new members just with the welcome message, you know, and man, they get really high engagement, like stupid high engagement. She'll send out a welcome, you know, a welcome message to people, and they'll ask a question and then she'll answer it. And they'll literally have a volley back and forth of 20 or 30 messages. And it's too early to tell because it hasn't been over a year yet. But I would bet hard money that the people she sent a welcome message to, that she engaged with in the very beginning, the percentage of those people that go inactive compared to the people who were not engaged with early on like that, I would bet hard money it's a massive difference.
And I'll say that there's, I feel confident that it's much less who I am and much more about the fact that I opened a door for back and forth conversation, and they took advantage of it. So that's why I'm saying, like, that beginning message, making it short and asking a question and seeing who you can get engagement from and being quick to respond back with that engagement is so huge for member retention. And yeah, there have been several people. There was one that she went inactive, reactivated her account, and turns out she lived probably about 6 miles down the road. And came over, did a Zato scan. We spent 2 hours together visiting. She did a 700 PV order that month, and she had some things going on, and I would check up on her with the specific issues that we talked about. And every time she's just so grateful and thankful that I thought of her and was checking in on her and seeing how XYZ was going. And she's on ER, and I can tell now she's plugged in with our groups and our team, and she feels a part of the community. And she was like, by the way, I'm, you know, a major person on our town's board, and I have a large women's group. And, you know, you just never know who you're talking to until you get a chance to build a relationship with them. And I knew nothing about her. I didn't know who she was, where she was from, other than she was one of the people that responded back to a about to go inactive message. And so I started, whenever I do get back and forth conversation, I try to go back to my VO, look up their information, see who they were enrolled with before, see what city they're in. As much information as I can. I try to ask them if we can connect on Facebook, and then send them a request and look through who they are and stuff, so that I can look for ways to connect with them.
And this is how simple, I'm going to read you Kristy's welcome template just to show you how simple this is. It's got a picture of her. It's a really cute picture, by the way. Look good, sweetie. It says, hey there, first name. So she's being personal, including their name. This is Kristy Dempsey. I'm an additional Young Living Essential Oily mentor for you, and just wanted to check in on you and see how you've been enjoying your Young Living products so far. And also to see if you have any questions that I can help answer. Thank you for being part of our oily family.
So,
smiley emoji.
If anyone watching this back, or y'all want to watch this back, you can screenshot that and you could save it there.
But notice it doesn't say hey, this is Kristy Dempsey, the Ultra Commander Crown Diamond Royal person, right? They don't know anything about ranks. They just got a kit. So she just wants them to know that she's here to support them. And I did a search in the chat because I just searched for a little snippet of that template to see, like, you know, when it's used. And the amount, I can't tell you. It's in. You know what, babe? I'm gonna show one of these real quick.
Hey, Jake, your video's not on. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, there we go.
I want to share this real quick because I just want to show you what I mean by. Is it this one? I think it's this one.
Do you know what you're about to show?
Nope. All right. So this is some lady, right? This is the chat with her. This was the first message. Kristy's sending a welcome, but I'm not going to read the messages. What I want you to look at is the engagement. So she sent a welcome message. She'd never talked with this person, right? This is the first message. This was in September. Look. See all these? That's them replying.
Yeah.
That's wild, right?
Yeah.
And it's just because she started with sending this welcome message that, I am 100% convinced that person, whoever that is, the likelihood of them going inactive is much, much more decreased now because she feels connected to somebody. And she may be connected with her upline, her enroller and everything, but now she feels...
is actually. It's funny because I've been talking a lot with her. She's just plugged into our, we have a 21-day sugar detox thing that we kicked off, and she's super active in there and doing all the things in all of our Facebook groups and stuff now. But yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, Kristy,
Yeah.
would you mind posting a screenshot of what you send as your welcome message in the event?
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Yep. I can just do the,
Or the text, whatever.
Yeah, just screenshot your template, babe.
Yep. Doing it now.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Jake, what does your template for a welcome message look like?
This is my wife, Kristy. Ask her questions. I allow my upline to handle the project broadcast messages to my team.
That's very smart of you.
Jake said, I'll create the tools, you execute.
Love it.
I'd be giving unicorns away. It'd be ugly. I mean, it'd be ugly.
Very good.
What are bundles?
Okay, we're getting a request for info about bundles.
So bundles are a way for you to, well, first off, don't just assume when someone posts a bundle in the Young Living Project Broadcast Facebook group that it's a good bundle. I mean, anybody can create crap content.
True.
Okay? So if someone posts a bundle, your first question should be, is the content good? And what you want to know is, did they get good engagement? When did they use it? Why did they use it? What happened when they used it? There are a few bundles that I've personally imported just to look at them, and I'm not going to say what they are, but they're crap. I mean, they're just heavy spam like information. So a bundle is just a way for you to create. If you have campaigns and templates in the system, you can create a bundle and call it whatever, Sleep Challenge Bundle, whatever. And then you can add campaigns to it. You can add templates to it. When you do that, you get a little code, and you can give that code to another Project Broadcast user, and they can import that bundle, and it creates a copy of the campaign, of all the templates. They still got to wire it together. They still got to create keywords and do all that stuff, but the core of the content is copied over. Then they can tweak it and change it, to fit their needs, to fit their voice. But I would just caution, if you see a bundle, don't assume it's good. You don't know that. Ask some questions, and then look at the content yourself. And again, you should be asking, is this written for someone to read, or is it written for someone to reply? And that's a real different thing.
I think that, is there one of the training videos in the boot camp about bundles too?
Yeah, there's a boot camp video on bundles, and there's also a video in the training section of the app on bundles too.
Okay. The other thing I was going to mention, because somebody was asking about how do you do this with upline, downline, and one of the hiccups that you may run into as well, especially if you have several layers of leadership that are all using PB regularly, whenever you have a bundle and you're sharing, or even like what I just posted out there, you do kind of want to collaborate with some of those leaders that you think are regular PBers, because you don't want the exact same text word for word going to the same person from multiple leaders. It
That's a
doesn't
good point.
feel personal. So now that I've shared that out there, I want you guys to be aware. Try to twist and make things a little bit more personal and not use things verbatim, because you want it in your voice. And you don't want everything to be word for word, because now it does look like a copy and paste to your new member, and that's a turn off for them.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Just letting you know, because I know that there may be some, and that is the one downside of sharing bundles is if you have several leaders and they're all sending out the same thing, it feels like spam as a recipient getting the same message from 3 and 4 leaders all the same time.
You mean if they're all in the same like lineage?
Line, yeah. So if it's like me and the person I enrolled and then their enroller and all 3 of us send the exact same welcome message to the new members every month, it doesn't feel personal anymore.
Yeah, I think bundles should be, I mean, again, personally, I think bundles should be used more as a muse. Right. You get a bundle, you import it, and you're like, oh, okay, I see how they're kind of laying this out. And then you tweak it heavily to be your voice. And you got to find your voice. And again, if you're copying and pasting like a Facebook post, that's not your voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different channel than Facebook, it's a different channel than email, and that channel has a specific voice, your voice, right? Like the way I write emails is actually different than I write text messages, right? So I need to make sure that when I'm using a channel like texting, that it fits that channel. It's not an 800 character message that no one's going to read as a text. Yeah. We do allow you to do 1,000 characters. It should be very rare that you have 1,000 character message that you want to send to a contact.
I think we covered a lot. So I don't, are there any questions?
Am I ready for a nap?
I think they look like they're full of content. Sherry says she's ready for boot camp, though. This is good.
Yay.
She hasn't run from the room, so
that's awesome. Yes. Keep your magnify your purpose going, and your
if you want to see some cool, I haven't done this in a while. It's from it's probably from 2017, maybe. But there's a file also in the Young Living Project Broadcast Facebook group called Success Stories. And it's literally just a file with a bunch of links in it to different Facebook posts that leaders posted in that Young Living Project Broadcast Facebook group. Man, that's a lot to say. From Black Friday, Cyber Monday time frame in 2017. So like when we first launched. And it's incredible. Like, it's really cool to see stories. Like, even this year, I remember, man, Heidi Hovan, she actually does one of the videos in boot camp. She posted in Diamond Chat that she hit Diamond because of Project Broadcast. And I was like, that is so awesome. So I messaged her. We talked a little bit. And then like 3 months later, she posted and gave PB the credit for her hitting Diamond 3 months in a row so that she could go on Diamond Retreat. Like, that's huge. Where you see people who literally double their OGV and hit silver, or, I mean, it's just insane. One girl, there's one of those posts, this girl did, like, she's super green. She did this breakdown of exactly how much she spent on Project Broadcast messages for a given month and how much business that brought in for her for that $10 invest. It was insane. But it's actually a really good post because it shows you that it's like, okay, you spent $10 but got whatever, $5,000 in sales because of it. It
really is kind of like having an assistant to help you with getting things out. And another thing that I've used this for is if I'm going to a specific town and I want to allow people to sign up for either Zyto or Itovi scans, something like that, you can do a Google form and put that in the PB so that they have, actually, I did signupgenius.com is what I used for that because I could create time slots. And so I did the long URL on signupgenius.com and put that in the PB. And so I just messaged out in my group and said, hey, if you're in this area and you want to sign up for your own scan, I'll be there in town at this location between this and this time. If you like a scan, sign up or opt. I think I said, like, you send the keyword Zyto to, or whatever it was. I can't remember, Zyto, Richardson, or maybe the town. And then when they opted in, then I had a place where I could go look at the people's name, but then I could also have the Sign Up Genius form to refer to, and all the communication back and forth. If they had a specific question, they had a phone number to text me at, like if they were running late or whatever, and I could send out reminders to people too, because they had texted me. So now I had their text number isolated into that tag, and I could send them a reminder and say, hey, I'm excited to see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock for your Zyto scan. Remember to arrive 10 minutes early and make sure that you're hydrated or whatever. So
did you also talk about, Kristy, that thing you do each month for Danette's class, the text?
Yeah, briefly, the DFW thing that I did, that I talked to you guys about, opting in. So, and then the appetizers afterwards. So I started, because the momentum built so much with that. So we would have, like, I think we started out with maybe like 5 or something like that. The last one we did, there were 30 of us at the restaurant afterwards. So there were probably about 40 of my team at this monthly class that she holds, and the venue only holds like 200 people. So our team is a pretty big presence at her events. And I attribute a lot of that to the communication that I've been able to do through this, and the connection, so that people feel like they're not just showing up and sitting in a random seat. They're showing up as part of a team, and they know they have a text number they can reach me at, and they know they're invited immediately after to hang with their team, and they're getting to know each other. So I like to bring little raffle tickets. They get to know the things that I do and the perks that I do for them that show up to the appetizers afterward. So like, I'll bring raffle tickets, and when they come to the restaurant, I already RSVP'd the number of seats according to if they RSVP'd on my Google form that I sent out to those that were going. And then I'll do small little giveaways while they're there. I'll make sure that I'm introducing the people to each other. I look for commonalities to try to connect people while they're there. Like, there was one girl that came, and she's in one leg, and another girl that came from 2 hours out of town who was in another leg. And they both spoke German, and they both had this German background. And so they've connected, and they're really good friends now. And, it's just a really cool way to build that web of community within your team. So fun little things. Yeah.
That is awesome.
What was that made you get for the success post?
It's on the Young Living Project Broadcast Facebook group.
Yeah, there's a file section. There's a couple of different files in there, like, why someone.
What are they looking for?
Oh, you know what? It could be depending on the file. So there's because we have a main project broadcast group. That's where we don't allow company specific messages to be posted, because we have people from all kinds of different companies. So that's a very safe area. And then we create Facebook groups for company specific, like Young Living. So sometimes there's files in the Young Living one, if it is specific to Young Living, like that success stories document, that is in the Young Living one. And if it's a generic one, like, the acceptable best use document, that's for everybody. So that would be in the file section of that main project broadcast group.
Awesome. Are you guys?
So yeah, there's another thing that I'm thinking of right now too is even for team building or accountability, you could help create groups within that through just like. Sorry, I'm looking at 2 different things right now. Hold on.
You can do a book club. I mean, you can do anything in VB.
There's really it's endless. I'm going to end up going down a rabbit trail, so I'll just.
Rabbit hole, dear.
Rabbit hole. There you go. Trail hole. We're bouncing along. It's all good. Success. Yeah, the success stories is in YL Project Broadcast is the name of the Facebook group, and in the files section is the success stories.
Like I said, it's old. It's from 2017, but it'll give you some insight into kind of what people are saying about how they've used it. And that's back before we even had web. That was just when it's only mobile.
Yeah, and then the bundle library is another file in there, and it's got 357 comments. But again, like Jake said, make sure you do your homework and actually look at the bundle when you download it to your.
And I want to build a better way. So we do this same thing in every Facebook group. We create a document called Bundle Library, and my hope is that people will post their bundle as a regular post, and then update the bundle library that points to the post. Right? That sounds simple enough. No one does it, and so I want to. And I don't know how we're going to do this yet, but I really would like to create a bundle marketplace where people can create a bundle and submit it, and then it can have ratings from other users and maybe comments. But it's something that's been on the back of my mind, but I haven't figured out how to do it correctly yet, because I mean, this is again just me personally. I don't want you to go to a bundle marketplace and as a Young Living person be inundated with whatever Mary Kay or barbecue restaurant bundles, right? So we need to figure out how to make that where it can still be somewhat separate, so that as a Young Living person, you're looking for Young Living bundles. We just haven't figured out how to tackle that yet, but it's something I want to do. So that bundle library doc's the best we have today.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
You guys, we cannot thank you enough. This is amazing.
You look like you're about to fall asleep.
We're jazzed. We're ready to go. Woo!
Thank you guys for listening to us this long.
I know.
So welcome. I don't know where your kids are, but tell them thank you.
They're in a closet.
They're amazing. I love it.
It's a big closet.
I know. They got plenty of room.
Oh my gosh, you're ridiculous.
Well, you guys are the value that you bring to Young Living is absolutely astronomical. So we really do thank you for that. And I have a feeling that we're going to be busy the rest of the weekend. Get to practice one thing.
There you go. Just the goal is the one. You need gold star stickers, Skyla, and just
That's right.
each
One
one
thing.
gets a gold star
That's
when they do their one thing.
Exactly. So
And do the
thank
boot
you.
camp.
Thank you so much. And yes, we'll get started on the boot camp.
Awesome.
You guys good?
All
All right.
Thank you guys. Enjoy this retreat. Oh my goodness, Skyla, amazing. I'm jealous. Like I want to be in that room and just like wear it away and have Nutella bars and.
I was just about to say, will someone please eat a Nutella bar for me? That's all.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
I think we went first, actually.
Y'all are awesome.
All right.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Skylar,